Hi, I'm Heresy, a top 50 NA player and coach. The following video you're about to watch is a sample coaching session from my private coaching service offered in the description below. We cover lane phase micro, mid-game decision making, and how to think about late game team fights. I hope you enjoy.
Hi, YouTube.
Okay, so assuming no one swaps lanes right now, what's your game plan going into this lane phase? You see yourself, you have a page. Your opponents are Abrams Dynamo.
My game plan is, I mean, they're both kind of fat. I should be able to like shoot them pretty decently. With Paige shield, I can go in if she shields me. Like right here, I try to go in because the Abrams is in on her just to help create some space.
Okay.
But I think I genuinely kind of want to play a little slower at the beginning and try to play around those Paige shields.
Okay, that is very important to identify. Yes, the Paige shields. Especially when you're playing a melee character like Billy, you really synergize well with Paige because she wants to, or if she ever needs to stand back, you can very effectively utilize the shield to actually get positive trades on people. Now that we've seen the lane play out, I want to go back to wave 1. Because wave 1 often can say a lot. Oh, the timer is off. Okay, we'll go here. So I notice when you come off the zip, you go to the left side of the map immediately. You sort of forfeit the fog of war. You give it to the Abrams. Like you play left here.
I did that intentionally. So normally I would go in like the fog room there, but I think I don't know what skill Abrams has, but I think he kind of beats the shit out of me level 1. I mean, unless my page is good, but I have no idea if my page is good yet.
Right. Oh, so that is something to consider. Right. Abrams with his shoulder charge has very high threat, especially if you're playing under and in the Veil. I do think though, especially when you're not playing against Eternus players, you're not in E6 lobbies, and players are oftentimes not pressing advantages that they have. I do think it's good to play the right side anyway, even if you don't walk into the Veil immediately, just so that you see where the Abrams is standing. If he walks up at you and you're playing around walls, and he has an opportunity to pin you, of course, back off and allow him to have the right side. But I wouldn't forfeit it immediately. I know you're playing an Ascendant / Phantom elo. It's not like these players don't know what they're doing. They do. But I wouldn't give pressure and space and just immediately, as soon as the lane begins, just give Abrams what he wants. Because I think if you are off the zip and you're here as well, you can be playing the pillar, shooting Dynamo in the face, shooting Abrams in the face here, without ever being in danger of the Abrams actually hitting a shoulder charge on you. Yeah, it's always good because it's healing you not just for that flat amount, but it's healing you for missing HP to, you know, everything else being equal, to go in for a trade with your opponents before you kill the heal creep. I do want to say here, you use Blasted right here without really having a guaranteed fight, since you're already kind of playing by their tower. Whereas I think, since this is like a 40-second CD, well, it's 30 seconds, but it doesn't go on CD till the effect's over. I don't think you're going to have bash down for when the tier 2 camp or the tier 1 camp spawns at the 2-minute mark. I know the in-game timer's a little delayed, but I think that camp's just about to spawn.
Yeah, and so I don't think
the camp just spawned, and right now, so here's I actually think I talked about this in the video.
Yeah, I should probably be up there pressuring, just like stealing their camp because they're both half HP.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, earlier in the lane, like at wave 1, you were acknowledging Abrams has a lot of kill threat. I don't want to play up near him and give him an opportunity. But now, you know, several waves later, you're in charge of the lane. You and Paige are healthier. Dynamo and Abrams have the wave kind of permanently crashing into their tower. You're in control of the lane now. And so using Blasted to go for a trade that has a very low likelihood of going anywhere, especially because I think you dashed into the Dynamo when he had his kinetic pulse, which is something you can kind of know. It's like if he hasn't used that in a while, he's probably has it. So it was kind of telegraphed. So you used Blasted in a way that I don't think was particularly valuable. And I think that's kind of, it compounds and is much more of a misplay when you realize this skill would have been very nice to have 10 seconds later. Because not only would it have made you able to take the camp, even if they fought you, but it would have made you heal off of the camp if they didn't. So it's like not only did the trade go kind of poorly, but you're actually effectively lost at least 100 HP worth of healing.
Yeah, I think I go for the camp now because I've blasted up, but I could have taken it like a minute earlier.
Well, right, yeah. So of course they didn't capitalize on it, so that happens. Even at the highest level, people don't play the game perfectly. But when they saw you kind of back off after you cleared the wave and go run a box to the left, they could have blown up this camp very quickly. So this camp should not be here anymore. It's just something.
I think better players would have taken it.
Right, right.
Honestly, I'm dead here if it's not for Paige.
Ooh. I think you actually, because you had blasted up, really could have actually fought them after the Dynamo whipped his parry. Oh.
I didn't deserve to live that.
Yeah, that's a tech more people are doing. Baiting melees by parrying the minions.
I thought they got rid of that. Did they bring it back?
So what they did was they made minions no longer get stunned off of being parried, which makes it harder to freeze the wave. But you still actually proc a parry, and it resets your parry as if it was meleeed by a hero. So the minion wasn't getting stunned. It's why it kept punching. I think he got like 3 parries off in like a second and a half there, because the minion just kept swinging. But it resets the parry cooldown.
Okay. Yeah, I think I need to change my parry button because I don't use a keyboard, so I end up having to like long press parry most of the time, and it'll use the parry cooldown again.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I would not have parry on a long press. I don't know what your setup is, but
it's like I don't have to long press it to use it, but I'm incapable of pressing the button without triggering the parry twice.
I see.
So I think I should move that.
Yeah, even if you're not if you're playing a melee character, it's extra important because you're just going to be taking more melee engagements where you might parry someone. But in this game, no matter what character you're playing, if you're playing against someone like an Abrams, you're going to want to be able to have your parry key really accessible. Okay. This is something to be aware of here. After this next wave, you and Paige are hitting your ults, and both Dynamo and Abrams are quite far off of theirs. So I think you should be thinking right now about how you can set up a kill when you have the ult advantage. So you can do that by maybe thinning them out, taking some trades right now, even if they're not favorable. You know, this is the kind of situation where you can kind of take a counterintuitive trade where maybe you do 500 damage to them and they do 600, 700 damage to you, because once you get your ult, you'll be able to finish them off much faster than they can you.
A good point.
It's good though. There.
So do you think it was better to try to like do a play with my ult here, or try to secure the buff?
No, for sure go for the buff there. Your Paige had no reason to die there. In fact, so they have crash on you for the buff wave, which is not good. But you have a soul advantage, and you did just get your ult off of that. And you saw that they weren't contesting the buff. I think even if they went for the buff, considering you had your ult, it would be proper to chase them. Because even if they secure it, you taking a long, dragged-out fight on the buff, like 2v2, is better for you, because you're stronger players. You have the soul advantage. You have the ult advantage. It was always correct to go for the buff, even if they did contest you. That was just a very unfortunately misplay by your Paige. She walked up somehow.
So I probably shouldn't have used my ult here then, right? Should I have saved it?
Yes,
I was trying to bully them a bit because they were pressuring tower, and I got them both to half, but...
Observe that one more time.
Okay.
You know the Paige is dead. You don't have Rising Ram. However, of course, ulting people onto your tower is always extra effective because the thing does a lot of damage. Get both of them, which is good. Yeah, I was thinking about other things originally when watching this, but on a repeat viewing, no, I think that was a very good ult. Especially since you captured both of them. If you captured one of them, it can be a little different. You just have... You'd be doing less damage in total because you wouldn't be able to as effectively make them take damage from the Guardian. And it'd be harder for your page to follow up. Ulting both of them there is great. Especially noting that the Dynamo himself didn't have his ultimate yet. If he has his ultimate, perhaps you can be stunned for a while and maybe shoulder charged off of it, and they can quickly 2v1 you before the page gets back. But with them not really having any kill threat on you, I think going for a big play there with your ult was correct.
Okay.
Billy's ult just has such fantastic interaction around objectives. Being able to keep people on top of your towers or drag people out of their towers. That's kind of the core use of his ult, really.
I have a quick question for you on the itemization here. So I've just been, I think in this game I followed your build almost entirely left to right.
I see.
But I have been noticing that I quite frequently get cultists sacrificed before the big creeps spawn. So I've been buying Battle Vest first.
I think in the updated version of my build, I did move the Battle Vest because I realized that was confusing. That was a correct intuition. No,
cool.
There are rare occasions where perhaps you're losing or Battle Vest or Reactive Barrier would be practically useless in the lane you're in, where you can go Cult Sacrifice and just quickly get to your gun spike by going Extended Mag. But in most circumstances, it's most practical to get a Vitality item first.
I probably didn't have to use my ult here.
No, yeah, I don't think you needed it on the Abrams either, but you played that fight correctly, I think. Otherwise,
I just wanted to secure the kill, but
so let's see here. Okay, I like that you identified that you could just one-shot the tower there, or kill it in one wave.
Yeah, I didn't parry it on purpose, just in case, it kills a minion when they're not here.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much that matters, man.
So, for that engagement there, I just want to quickly note, when they both showed up, you immediately ran away. I think that's a good intuition, because you didn't have Blasted, you didn't have Bashdown, you didn't have your ult, So they're resetting, they're probably buying items, that they have some kind of... You're not in your strongest because you had like 2k on you. I think you just bought Battle Vest the second you went back, However, you did have a very significant soul lead. And I believe your page had ultimate as well. Oftentimes, when you do use a lot of resources to kill the tower while the enemy is respawning, you want to go back immediately and spend your money because you don't want to get punished for overstaying. I do think, though, in that matchup you were in, it's one of those win harder things you and I were discussing before the VOD. Dynamo is not a very strong brawler, and he doesn't have his ult. Most of this character's strength lies in the utility of his ult, and that's why it has such a long cooldown. It's 'cause it's the strongest ult in the game. When these people show up off the zip, 5k, 6k souls, even though you have 2k sitting in the bank, I think you just stat check them. You at least can try, because you have such a good matchup here with the page. Yes, you don't have Blasted and Bashdown, but you have high gun damage because you already hit your gun damage spike. That's something to consider. It's not just that you have 7k souls, but it's that you have a gun power spike, which neither of these people do. And the page barrier, it's giving you weapon damage and fire rate for an all-in. I think if you actually stood your ground there on the tower, you'd have surprised yourself with being able to win that fight.
Maybe. I did just run away because I didn't have any cooldowns, but I think you're right.
That's why I'm here. Or as I said, it's a good intuition, generally speaking. When you don't have cooldowns, don't fight. But, these games are so complicated. It is a little bit more complicated than that. Because, yes, you have low cooldowns, which would indicate that you're generally weaker. However, you have much more souls than they do. And you have the 4.8k spike, which is the largest power spike anyone gets in the game ever. You have it, and they don't. I would have at least just maybe taken the fight, and if it gets bad, Rising Ram out.
I see.
It's one of those minor things. It doesn't feel like that's that impactful, but that is one of those situations where it's like if you put Arctic on the Billy there, he just bosses up on them, and in this situation, he probably kills them.
And like right there at the page ult, I probably could have done it, but I didn't realize it was coming, and I hit the jump pad.
Yeah, that's Okay, the page showed up. Good. Yeah, I would have run away until you saw the page come in. Now it's absolutely correct to fight.
Yeah, I think the page was in voice comms, and I think we did comm that she was coming in there to help me.
Oh, that was very good. Yeah, you understood you had the advantage there, even though they engaged on you. You know, you were caught off guard a bit. Yeah, I would be trying to clear this wave and get out of here as soon as possible, unless something like what's going on now, which is your page just rotate in for a gank. Yeah, he has rebuttal, which is frustrating. Can be hard to figure out the timing there. You know, you get so much intuition for the normal parry CD. It's hard to adapt to rebuttal.
I have gotten a lot better with the rebuttal CD in like the last, I don't know, 12 games or so, because it's been bought against me every single time in lane.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll say this.
Yep.
I'll say you chose after you kill the Abrams to immediately go jungle. That's good. It's efficient gameplay. Though instead of roaming into their jungle with your full resource page, you kind of opted for the much safer thing to do, which was go for the lane camp. I know you had cult sack, but I would have liked to have seen you go into their jungle. One, because it's less dangerous because you're not alone, and two, it gives Paige something to do. You can walk into their jungle and make sure you're not just cult sacking a camp, but you're cult sacking one of their camps. And also, you did see that when you looked at the camp, it was just 2 minions, which means you couldn't actually clear 2 at the same time. One thing Billy's very good at is meleeing multiple minions at once. So it's like he kind of has AoE clear. It makes your like minute to minute that you're spending farming the jungle more efficient, so that you can get a soul advantage. So I think when you looked at that camp and saw that it was just 2 minions, I would have actually just immediately walked away to go to their jungle to cult sack something, or at least just cult sack one but leave the remaining minion. I wouldn't have stayed to clear that final minion. I just think it was not as productive as something you could have been doing. I know that the page just wandered into their jungle and kind of wandered back. If you were there though right now, you could be making something happen.
So I should be shooting the Abrams first and then going in to do the mash down.
Generally, yeah. Ooh, okay. That's not the first time you've done that. It seems like you have a small habit of when you pop blasted, you immediately go for the bash down. A fantastic ult from Paige. I wouldn't make that too much of a habit.
Wouldn't make what too much of a habit?
The popping the bash down immediately after using your blasted, because it resets the bash down CD. So it looked like there's been a couple times this game where you've popped blasted and then immediately gone for a bash down when there was no one near you. So it's like kind of wasting the bash down CD.
Yeah. It's bash down might as well be connected to my blasted.
Yeah, that's honest. Yeah, it did look like a subconscious habit, but it's honestly a pretty terrible habit, because being able to have 2 bash downs is really important to your trades on Billy. It's not just for the melee damage and the fact that bash down's proccing your melee procs like Lifesteal or Spirit Snatch, but it's also helping reload your weapon. Alright, good fight there. Okay, good. You didn't go just fight the Dynamo uselessly at his walker. You're going in their jungle. I think this is great. It's good that you're doing this now, but this is more or less the exact same opportunity you actually had 2 minutes ago. You killed the Abrams, Dynamo showing up on a wave, but...
Yeah, I could have done it a lot safer with the page, and...
I wonder if Mina and Abrams, or Mina and Drifter have Cult Sack. They don't. Yeah, so again, when you used Cult Sack earlier on the right tri-camp, a better player actually would have known that none of these players have Cult Sack, which means there's an extremely high likelihood their big minion is up in their jungle. Because you knew the camp was alive. Sometimes the camp's alive, but the tier 3 minion's gone because someone used Cult Sacrifice on it already. But they don't have any Cult Sacrifices, so that would have been a great opportunity for you to walk into their jungle and just immediately steal their, most important jungle camp.
Okay.
You went for the bash down on the walker there. I would never use bash down on objectives. Because it's just not as good as heavy melee, and heavy melee reloads your gun more anyway. I think bash down is a great tool for fighting players.
Okay. So disconnect my bash down from my
yeah.
blasted cooldowns. There are two different buttons for a reason. Got it. And here I just want to kill the Calico, and I whiffed the Vortex Web.
Yeah, maybe you're newer to using the item. Like you said, you're new to this build of this game. It looked like you kind of used the Vortex Web before your ult went off. Okay, but good.
Yeah,
you know the Calico's exposed. You run her down. This is good. You're okay. I think your team should be going mid-boss. Your team should be going mid-boss.
That was my call.
Okay. Good to call. Good to go there anyway, even if your team's not showing up. Honestly, I would have kept hitting it, honestly, just to force your team to go there. At least for a little bit. At least for a little bit.
Hey, go mid or lose.
Yeah.
Just keep hitting it. and then I'm here, and I'm like, all right,
you're here for the fight. You're taking the front line. You're going in a little early because your team's not going immediately for the depot.
Yeah, I was starting to feel left out to dry here.
Yeah, okay. I can see how you'd be very tilted dying there after dying in the mid pit previously, but I think this one is much more of your fault than the other one was.
Yeah, I think they're all my fault. I could have done better, but so do you think just waiting there, or?
Yes, yeah. So you're the frontliner, right? You do kind of establish the boundaries of the fight. That's part of your job in a team fight, but you can't set up bad boundaries. You can walk up too far, and I guess in lower elos, Ascendant is not low elo. I mean, no offense to it. I just mean,
if Ascendant's top 2%, the top 2% is kind of stupid.
we are kind of at that stage in the game. I think everyone's a little stupid. That includes the Eternus players. We'll all get a lot smarter, like the LoL players did. In solo queue though, where there's chaos, you really can't count on your team that's like 5 seconds behind you at least to immediately all rotate to you to help you fight here. Like, this is not you kind of being a frontliner and creating space. This is just you taking a 1v2/3. And there's a difference. Sometimes the difference can be small, right? But yeah, you're inting a little bit here. I don't know if you have your ult back because the CD is broken. No, you don't have your ult back because you used it to kill Calico less than a minute ago. So yeah, you don't have your ult here. I do think you have Vortex Web, but point is, if you have your ult, there's a possibility here. You know you can stat check these two players, especially the Mina. These are both movement-based characters. You can jump in, pop your ult, and do a lot here. That's different. But since you don't have your ult, you are just a stat stick. You provide a little bit of CC and just an enormous amount of HP. But you are kind of wasting that when you, instead of using that to play with your team and create space for them to do damage, you just take this fight. You should hover around the urn, kind of telegraph, allow your Lash to feel comfortable walking up so that you can brawl people that walk up. But when you run up by yourself, that's the best way to get melted.
Yeah. And then dying right before the page ult hits me there.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But in any case, right, besides that would have been the page bailing out your inting. You inted before.
Oh yeah,
and of course
I
you know that.
threw that fight.
Yeah.
I threw that fight.
That's an instance of playing the game like you have your ult when you don't. I think I referenced in the video, don't do that. It's very, very important to understand you're sort of a different character whether or not you have the ult. You are a crazy playmaker when you have Chain Gang because you can take people out of safe positions and to deny them movement abilities while grouping them together for your team's AoE damage. Especially when you have characters on your team that can really use that, like Lash ulting people. You know, if you have your ult, you can ult people for Lash or after Lash ults, and you can also set up people for Page ults. So it's extra important to be thinking about, you know, saving your ult for those team fight plays so that you can make those things happen. Like, as you saw, as you were running away for your life, Lash ulted like 2 or 3 people. Imagine if that whole time you're playing on the urn, they walk up, they get ulted anyway, and then after they get ulted, you chain gang and vortex web them. Instead of yeah, it's an easy fight because, I mean, they're not going to kill you if you're playing cover, and they can't kill you anyway because if they overcommit trying to kill you, they're going to get Lash ulted, and they are absolutely not surviving the vortex web chain gang after a Lash ult. It's like if you had literally just played back 5 feet and waited for your team to walk up behind you, you carry. Okay, you're playing your walker. It gives your team resist. This is good. I don't know if you have your ultimate or not. Oh, that was great.
I used it to kill the Dynamo. I tried to kill the Abrams too, but he managed to get out.
You took that quick trade there and dipped out. You know, playing to the fact that, you know, you have CC. You have all the souls, so you are the team's best fighter. But of course, that's not always the case on Billy. And really, you have fantastic CC. So always be thinking about how you can use your abilities to set up your teammates. It's great, even when you're ahead like this.
Yeah, I think this this build is really making me a Vortex Web believer, because I think I snagged the Calico with it there into the Page route. I don't play Page. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I want to watch this one more time because this is sort of the game ending play here. Because even despite your deaths, you know, you still have top souls. You don't have as much of a soul lead as you did, but you are still sort of captain of the lobby.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I was trying to make something happen. Like my team was right behind me. I thought we were good. We just get the pick on the Abrams.
Yeah, it's fantastic. If you're looking at the health pools, you know that your team is healthier too. And now that you got that kill, you're sort of even on players, at least for a little bit. I know one enemy just respawned, so this is like a 44.
The Drifter's probably. I was thinking like the Drifter's probably not here. We killed the Calico right here too.
Great vortex web.
Oh yeah. That was one of the plays that made me be like, hey, maybe you're onto something with this item.
Yeah. So.
And then I'm like, okay, great.
It's right here.
The 3 of us, and just these 2. I was like, we could get them, and I didn't look at my mini map to see everybody else left.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Everything you had done before then was correct. You know, besides like minor mechanical misplays that everyone does because they're human. You know, your target priority was good. You were taking trades carefully. You were fighting under your walker and not over forcing. And only once you got the kill on the Abrams that kind of evened it up 4-4 did you start to push forward with your team. And you're playing with your teammates. You're not doing that anymore, but you were doing that a moment ago. And so you're able to pick off all their stragglers. It's funny, all those kills you just got, you got killing players that were doing what you're doing now.
Yep.
You know, you killed the Calico because she was still fighting up the mid lane by herself while her team left. Well, now you're doing that, and the thing is, you don't have CDs. You don't have your ult. Your bash down or your blast is running out. You don't have a rising ram. You have nothing.
I thought that Lash and Dorman were gonna be here with me.
Yeah, I think your page was low HP and just reset. But here's something to consider. You should have reset. And here's why.
Yeah.
At this stage in the game, because people have such long respawn timers, you know, there's 70 seconds, kills are very, very important for setting up the mid-boss. They change the game state for a long time. And so even when you're down players, like you were earlier, it was like 4v5 on your walker, the second you start getting return kills, now your team is winning. Because respawns take so long, your team, if they get 2 or 3 kills, put the enemy on 70-second respawn timers, your team can go reset and buy their items and then walk back to mid-boss full HP and take the 5v4. You don't need to keep forcing the fight, especially when you're low. So here is good, because the Calico is one shot, and you're here with your team. Oh, the client broke. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm gonna give a freeze frame. Honestly, here.
It's okay.
It's broken. I'm freeze frame here because I think this is actually all the data you need. Okay, because it's at this moment that since you get this kill, you should always be doing this. It doesn't matter what hero you're playing. This is just proper late game macro. Your teammates are respawning before the enemies. So this is not just a 4v3 that you're in. This is not a 4v3. This is practically a 6v3. However, you do have a teammate who's up on the enemies by themselves. Maybe you can just assume that Haze is going to die. By the way, I think you should assume that Haze is going to die. If you just take your split second when you kill the Calico here to just look at the health bars on the map, or look at the map and look at the health bars, you know, Haze is probably dead here. Maybe she gets a kill, but you're not going to be the hero here. You don't have your CDs. I know the replay client just broke and it says you have your CDs right now, but you don't. You don't have your ult. You don't have your Vortex Web. Your page is low.
Remover either.
Yeah,
you don't have anything.
Yeah, you don't have anything. And so, since you got the kill on Calico, you should be thinking, can I help the Haze? No.
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I need to reset. And then while you're resetting, you can be thinking, what can we do here? Well, the answer is take a 6v3, or really, I guess what will be a 5v3, a guaranteed at the very least, right? Assuming Haze dies instantly. What you can know when you're basing with your page, who might be thinking the same thing, is we have a guaranteed 5v3 right now. We have a 5v3 for like 35, 40 seconds. You know, because by the time you reset, it'll be 20 seconds, you'll be back coming down mid lane. You have 40 seconds to make a play with your team 5v3, where you can absolutely go force the mid boss. That's kind of a GG situation. I know it doesn't feel like it here because you walk forward and die and then you lose the game, but your decision to walk forward here and fight literally throws the game, like single-handedly.
Told you I could have.
Yeah.
Told you I could have won this one.
Yeah, because if you go base right now, the enemies have very little counterplay. They have to beat you in a 5v3 team fight, which is probably not happening. I don't know if the Dynamo has ult or not, but in a 5v3, even if he has ult, you can just take the fight with him in the pit when he has to contest, and then you do the same thing, you know? Maybe one of your teammates dies. Okay, they die. Haze respawns. Now you have 5 players still. You killed the 3 of them. Oh, what are you in? You're in a 5v3 again. It's just, you know, 60 seconds later. The enemies right here are in kind of an unwinnable game cycle where you're just up 2 players for the foreseeable future. And it's so important that you capitalize on these moments, especially when you're the carry, you know? You have all the souls. So now that we've watched the VOD, what questions do you have? Whether it's about the VOD itself or perhaps about something unrelated.
I think... Ooh, I do have some questions. If you could pull your build up, your Billy build up real quick.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I'll probably be back.
Session. Okay,
next time we talk, I'll at least be Ascendant.
Oh, for sure. I'm expecting that.
All right.
Okay, you have a good night.
You too. Thanks.